Chris Sims, he said the Niners are afraid to play Trey Lance. Do you agree or disagree with that assessment?
Well, I do think that there's some apprehension. Why? Because as soon as Trey Lance starts to play, this is their biggest swing, right? This is the biggest swing they've taken as a regime. And as soon as he starts to play, they're tied to him, and his success makes them look smart and his struggles make them look bad. And they're keenly aware of that. So I'll just say that I think they understand that. I'm not saying their careers are tied to this guy, but
they're not either.
Yeah, but they're both going to take a huge hit across the league and with the fan base if Lance is a bust, and they know that.
Yeah, and it's not because they drafted Lance with the number 3 pick. That any team could have done that. It's because they traded up, and they realized that they traded up a lot, and that's why they'll argue with you. And you say they gave up 3 firsts and a third, they'll be like 2 firsts. No,
dumbest argument of all time.
But that's how sensitive they are on this topic, because they understand that they gave up too much. The package they gave up to Miami for the right to pick a college player was what you'd give up for a Pro Bowl quarterback. It's what you give up for Deshaun Watson. So you could give him a fully guaranteed contract worth $230 million. And there's no way that Trey Lance can live up to that. I mean, he doesn't even need to be the number 3 pick in the draft. You don't need to be Deshaun Watson. But after that trade, you kind of do need to be Deshaun Watson. And I think they realize it, and they're afraid to just let him go out there. Really, what would have been best for Trey is to go to a rebuilding team like Josh Allen did for Buffalo and just play, and get your feet underneath you and learn as they improve. But here, you got to be great right away because the team is good and they gave up way too much to get you. It's a really tough spot.
Oh, and not only that, this whole season, I mean, think about it. The fan base is thinking Super Bowl. Whatever the Niners are thinking, the fan base is thinking Super Bowl.
That's right.
And so that, on some level, is the expectation. I think it's really interesting. I think Shanahan's got enough goodwill where he would survive. Lynch, I'm not sure. But what also makes it adds even more fuel to the fire is the fact that if they had stayed where they were at, they could have had Mac Jones. They could have had Mac Jones right there. He went 15.
Yeah, and I don't know if Mac Jones will ever be a top 5 quarterback in the league, and I think Trey Lance has the tools to one day potentially be a top 5 quarterback, but he also may not be a top 5 quarterback. And Mac Jones was a Pro Bowl quarterback this year. The Niners haven't had one of those since Jeff Garcia. So you could have had, a good quarterback fall in your lap, or you could have been very aggressive for someone. I don't know. It's like if they really believed in Trey Lance, I'd like to move up, but they never really showed to me, they acted like they wanted Deshaun Watson. Civil suits started pouring in, and they made a panic move to get a pick. I still think when they got that number 3 pick, they didn't know who they were going to get. And that's why so many people said Mac Jones, because the Niners didn't even know. Like, really, Kyle Shanahan doesn't think about these players 2 years down the line. He learns who they are in January, and probably early on in the offseason, he wasn't even thinking about them. He was thinking, I'll get Stafford or I'll get Watson. And then oh, snap, I got to actually evaluate the top 5 quarterbacks in the draft and pretend like I'm not because I'm at 12. I don't want to do that. Let's go to 3, and I'm going to do my homework in a month. That's what I think happened.
Or he liked a couple of those quarterbacks, and he thought maybe one of them would be there at 3. I really think the guy that he really wanted was the BYU kid.
Yeah. Hey, man, don't you have Robert Saleh's number? I could have asked him that. I mean, you didn't know? You thought he wasn't taking Zach Wilson? Like, what? I don't know. Maybe he shouldn't have in retrospect. Really, in retrospect, that would have been a great spot for Trey Lance, the Jets. Because
he could have played.
Yeah, then again,
but he would have gotten his butt kicked.
Yeah, then again, it's New York, and there's not a lot of patience there. But, I mean, it worked for – yeah, I don't know. We'll see with Trey Lance. Double B Studio says Niners are bluffing to keep interest for trade Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, that bluff has really been working out.
Yeah, who is buying that bluff right now?
They've been bluffing for years. Chase Shears says, so if they think – hold on. So if the Niners think Jimmy Garoppolo can go to Seattle, back to New England or anywhere else and win, then why the hell do they think they need Lance? Either they think Lance is great, like drastically better than Jimmy Garoppolo, or they're just bad as a front office. Fair point. I think Garoppolo would go back to New England as a backup, not as a starter. A backup. for Mac Jones.
Yeah, well, they're not. Yeah, he's not going to go. I think you could argue that Mac Jones is more efficient right now than Jimmy Garoppolo. And as far as Seattle goes, that one is interesting because to me, Grant, that's the nightmare scenario for the Niners. He goes to Seattle, they get him for nothing. The Niners are forced to release him, and then Seattle goes 2-0 against the Niners, and Jimmy plays well in those two games. That's where I think if you're it's not good. I think it would probably cost somebody their gig. I don't know who, but it would cost somebody.
Yeah, and it's like maybe the Seahawks would do it just to spite him. See, I was thinking, I've been having this joke with Josh Dubow, who writes for AP, that the Niners should trade Jimmy Garoppolo to a team and to Seattle. But the rule is he has to play against the 49ers. He can fit the rest of the season, but when the Niners play Seattle, Jimmy Garoppolo has to play. That's what I was saying. But
yeah, exactly.
If he beats the Niners, you're right. Someone gets fired immediately.
Imagine the you think people are losing their mind now. Imagine if he went to Seattle and somehow, because I think Seattle had a phenomenal draft and they've got a really strong running game, and I think they got the best running back in the draft. Can't Jimmy hand it off to Kenneth Walker III and throw a couple play action passes down the field to Lockett or Metcalf? I think he can. So I mean, to me, if I'm the Niners, do you not? There's a big difference between you don't think he's got enough upside to win you championships and you don't want him in your division. There's a big stretch there. So it's not like it's, you could still not want Jimmy, not believe you can win a Super Bowl with Jimmy, believe you need to upgrade the quarterback, and still not want him in Seattle.
I think there's something to this, that the Niners don't want Jimmy Garoppolo to get cut and then sign for cheap and be a starter somewhere and potentially have a good year. So I think what the Niners could do is just hold on to him and hold on to him and hold on to him until all the starters' jobs are gone for good, and then cut him so that he can't be a starter somewhere. I don't know. Seattle seems to be content to wait, though.
What's the
reason? I think they want the first pick. I think they're tanking Seattle.
You think so?
Yes.
I think Seattle's going to be good.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
I really think they're going to be good. I know people have them last, but yeah, I mean, imagine what it's like if Trey hits bumps in the road, struggles or gets hurt, Garoppolo's in Seattle, and they go to the playoffs, and the Niners go 6-11.
Oh wow, it would almost be too good from my perspective. Not from
I would say your videos would blow up.
Oh God,
the channel, both of our channels would just do. I hate to wish for that, but I mean, it'd be
yeah, me too.